Have you ever attended a conference or a meeting where you found it difficult to concentrate or to connect to the speaker? I recently had that experience. Anyone who knows me would see that I'm a very fast-paced visual person. And the speaker was completely kinesthetic. This was a mismatch. And instead of concentrating on the content, I was focusing on that I wanted the speaker to have more energy. So missed opportunity to learn. And that's why it's important to master this important skill of sensory modality. Although all modalities are available to everyone, we tend to favor one or two. This influences our thoughts, our language patterns, and our behavior. When we understand our own and others' preferred modality, it allows us to understand how they see the world. Understanding and using this skill makes us more powerful communicators. Okay, then Urmy will do his.
Right. So yeah, I'll run through Urmy's part real quick just for the transition. So that, okay, so when you end, I'll sense and just, well, we'll just go. Okay, so what are these sensory modalities? Well, the three main ones that we're focusing on are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So visual obviously means we interpret things most easily if we could see a picture, and we'll use language like, you know, I see your point, or can you tell me the big picture? Kinesthetic is more tactile. We like to build things. We're good with our hands. We need to touch and do a process in order to learn it. But once we do, then we're there. Words include things like, you know, grasping an idea, or it feels off, or let me wrap my hands around that and get back to you. Auditory is very good with hearing something and then really remembering it. Sometimes they'll say, oh, I hear what you're saying. Or they'll say, hey, can you let me repeat that back to you just to make sure I heard it right. Now, these can also be speaking patterns or cadence. So you heard Liesel, visual person, spoke fairly quickly. Kinesthetic tends to be a little more measured, a little slower, maybe a little slower to jump into a conversation, and likes make things thought through, and it needs to feel right before they'll speak. Auditory is someone in the middle. So we have now you might be wondering that how would you tell? How can we tell what we are? Well, we have a quick exercise that follow along. Now watch what I do, and then just repeat what I do, and then we'll see how this will help pick. So first, just touch your chin with your dominant hand. Okay, then touch your ear. Okay, touch your chin again. Touch your ear. Okay, now a little quicker. Touch your chin. Touch your ear. Now continue to touch your ear. Now, you might notice some of the colleagues here are touching their chin, where I said for the audio track they keep touching your ear. So for an audio listener would hear that the word touch your ear and then be touching that and not be distracted by the visual, but the visual individuals would pattern match what they see. So that's a quick way to tell what if you're visual or kinesthetic, visual or auditory. Now, this can be very important because we not only want to know what modality is our natural state, but we want to know what the modality is of the person we're interacting with or perhaps trying to influence.
So now let's see how it works in real life. So I will be playing the boss, and Raymond will be someone who's asking for a raise. And we'll be focusing predominantly on words that are used, and let's see how different words change the outcome completely. So Raymond.
Okay. Hello, Juris. Thanks for inviting me in here. I just, was thinking about the last year. It was quite successful, and I really feel I had a tangible part in the success of bringing the client and meeting the deliverables. And I feel it's been a few years that it'd be appropriate for a financial raise in salary. How does that? How does that? What, is
I
that
get it,
something you can
Raymond.
wrap
So
your hands around?
I see that you are looking for some more opportunities, and the vision is that in a long run, if you can just imagine how much better we're going to become, if you can hold up a little bit more, and then maybe next quarter we can get back to this conversation. Does that sound right for you?
I could take that back to the desk. Let me try that on and see if that fits. I might be having to make some tough decisions, but
So you see what happens there. Raymond kind of pulled back a little bit. Rest we replay same exact thing, and I'm gonna try to match Raymond now. So Raymond.
okay. Thanks, Juris. I really feel we had a great year, and I had a very tangible part of the success. Met the deliverables. Just have a hunch that be time for a raise.
I feel you, Raymond. I feel exactly what you're talking about. And let's just get through this little bit uncomfortable phase that we are going through, because we all are feeling the impact of this last quarter that's having on our business. And next quarter, I feel like that would be a really great opportunity for us to sit down and really nail down how we can make this happen for you. Does that feel right for you?
Yeah, that's something that I could take on and try on, and that feels like it fits. We'll talk again next quarter. Thank you.
Or did you see like Raymond like initially just leaned in straight away when I matched his words? That feeling sensation that it feels like he's understood, you know. And in real life, there are many scenarios that you might have gone through already, and you don't even know that. But you can reflect on it, and you have definitely been exposed to every single one of these things. Like for myself, when I was growing up and learning chemistry and physics, it didn't really hit the ground to me until my teacher started to visually draw all the semantics on whiteboard. Like I had to see how these things are created and then matched, and every single process happened in. I could read book as many times as I could. I would not be able to digest it. But when I could visualize it, it finally stuck, and I started to enjoy it. That was a visual, like I'm very visual, very kind of still into those kind of things. And here's an example of a mismatch for somebody who's auditory. Like my friend came over and he had some issues in a relationship, in his marriage, and he's asking me for advice. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing everything and I still can't get anything right. And she still says I don't care about her. And so I ask him, what do you say to her when she walks in the door at home? And he goes to me like, well, I make her coffee, I fix stuff at house, I look after kids. Like, no, look, what do you say to her? Then it finally hit him. His wife's dominant modality was auditory. She needed to hear appreciation, not feel it, not see it. She wanted to just hear, hey, I missed you. I love you. Oh, I'm so glad you came, you're back home. That marriage didn't need therapy. It just needed to understand and connect on the right sensory language. And then once I was walking in a furniture showroom, and I could see this one customer is sitting on a sofa and he's trying and feeling the sofa, and a salesperson coming over, hey, and starts talking about like prices and how great it would look at his home and colors might be matching and so on and so forth. And I could see he's losing him because he just said, look, it just doesn't feel right. But he starts talking about like this couch is a bestseller, look how it's great for all the modern homes. He just got up and said like, no, it doesn't feel right, and he walked out. That salesperson could have said, hey, maybe you want to try another sofa. We have something similar next section. And he could have closed the deal, and he could have made the customer extremely happy. But because he lost him, there and then he did not acknowledge that he's kinesthetic, that customer just didn't want to do anything with that shop anymore. So these are 3 examples that maybe you can relate in your own personal life. Where have you observed auditory, kinesthetic, and visionary examples?
Now, we are going to challenge you. Use your sensory acuity to identify your own and others' sensory modality of choice. Then, see how often you can use this skill to communicate with each other and with our amazing participants. Raise your hands if you're committed to using this skill of sensory modality today.
All right, great. That's a stop. I think we're, and I apologize. I meant to time it. We're probably first. I think that's great. I think we're. I mean, if we had to do it tomorrow, the 3 of us could bang it out. Now we'll blend Urmy in as well. But the examples are good. Well, what'd you think? Let me go around. I thought it went okay. Juris, do you want to go first? What?
We're flowing. It's definitely going to happen once we hit at the ground.
Yeah, especially. I mean, I know we're going to may write some things out, but Liesel, how do you think it went?
I think the examples were great. It was also fantastic that I touched my chin when you sit here. So
yeah, that's right. I did
demonstrated it again. So well done on talking us through that one. And yeah, so the only concern that I have is just to make sure that our time is spot on, that we don't go over.
Yeah, it did seem like that was my thing too. It felt a little long. Let's see. I could trim up some the job interview stuff. You don't need a whole thing there. And then the chin is probably that one's fairly straightforward. I think that was reasonably tight. I can tighten up. Go ahead.
I think personally, just listening to the whole thing is if we demonstrate without explaining a lot. So something like when with the interview that the 2 of you do, that's fantastic. And maybe we can say, type in chat any differences that you see, or which one.
Yeah, that's right. We need the type in chat
was more effective. Just potentially, if we over in time.
Well, I think it's better to just cut it short and then get examples from them, and then get told, "Oh, you're too long."
Yeah, we need. We don't want to unmute and have them talk. I don't think. I think we want to say, "Hey, put something in chat." That could be anything. I mean, we lose the whole.
Yeah.
But the interaction is very
important. I like the example that you give. Those are really good. And at the same time, if we're too long, we can just say, while you look at this, type it in. Sorry, I'm testing a new camera, so it's.
Whoa, I love it.
I need to forget to use certain movements, otherwise it's going to play around. So I think everything was fine. If we're too long, then we can just, instead of explaining everything, we say scenario 1, and then, okay, let's see if we can do it better, and drop it in chat if you see any difference or whatever. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I would say we could probably trim up the relationship story and then the furniture story. That there's
I can make it
tighter. And then they'll. But I think some explanation is okay. Like, well, I see your point. For the relationship story, if we just explained, it turns out when he started saying things like, "Oh, I love you, honey. Oh, you're beautiful tonight," then that was. I mean, we're merging into love languages, but then I think it's still worth saying that's the example. He realized she was auditory, and then he started making sure that he would communicate and say things regularly, which really helped.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, it's okay to do the story and then the wrap up. Like the furniture would be, you know, he was sitting on the bed, he was handling the bedboard, and the salesperson started out just saying, "Oh, it's on sale. It's going to look great in your home." The guy was disinterested, and then he pivoted and says, "Hey, why don't you feel the end tables? Why don't you touch them and see if they feel right?" And then he made the sale or whatever kind of thing. So that's an example of the customer being kinesthetic. Even if it's just one sentence, I think we anchor the story with, "Oh, this is what you saw."
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you share the recording, I don't mind timing it. While they play silently in the background.
let's
Have our meeting soon.
yeah, Liesel and I need to jump off. We have our team meeting in about a couple minutes. Let me stop the recording now so it starts processing.